In this video, I jump into the car and head to a Southern California neighborhood where a rare South American bird is visiting the county for the first time since 1935. Come with me on this journey and let's see what birds we can find. So I just got word of a bird that's primarily from South America. A wood stork is in Southern California, just an hour away from my location. So I'm gonna load up the family. We're gonna head out to this location, see if we can find this incredible bird. Apparently it's just hanging out in a roost. That would be a lifer for me. Obviously I haven't seen a wood stork, so let's head down there and see if we can find this incredible species. Just some information for you. The last time a wood stork showed up in San Bernardino County, California was 1935. So this isn't the first appearance, but it certainly is basically the first appearance for anyone alive today. It's absolutely amazing that a bird like this can, just show up anywhere in the world. So let's see if we can find it. Absolutely incredible. Found the wood stork. And quite literally, we're just in a neighborhood here in just, the LA, California type area. It's San Bernardino County. So I don't know, that's pretty insane. Just some context for you. The bulk of wood stork populations live in South America. But in the United States, wood storks live in the South. So Florida, Georgia, just along that southern belt area. They are a rare occurrence in Southern California. There's been one that's been hanging out in San Diego for a little while at this point, along that area. So they think maybe this is the same wood stork. It's on a nest. I don't know if it has babies. I don't really understand how that would happen. There's only one wood stork over there. But if you have extra context about this wood stork, let me know in the comments below. I just heard about it yesterday. So if I learn more about it, you'll see it in this video. One of the coolest birds that I think I've ever seen in the western side of the United States. Obviously, you can find them pretty easily in the South, but to find it in California, in San Bernardino County, nonetheless, is absolutely incredible. It is in the middle of a neighborhood, so to vlog this segment, I walked away, obviously, from the neighborhood. You never want to disturb people when you're birding. You never want to disturb neighborhoods. I'm now on a nature trail that's for just around the corner. That's just for dedicated looking at nature. But wow. If you do come out to see the wood stork, just be mindful of the fact that you're in other people's homes. There's private neighborhoods in this area as well that you're not supposed to be stopping in, but there is a pretty easy spot just right at the stakeout where you can see the wood stork. What a cool bird though. Like, what a cool lifer to pick up. First time I'm seeing that bird and it's not even in its range. Wood stork on the list. We'll get Lila's reaction. She got to see it as well about the wood stork when I get back to her, but let me know in the comments, what do you think about finding a wood stork in California? First one in this county since 1935. And it's just hanging out in a cormorant rookery. That's the cool thing about birding. You never know what you're going to find. Anything could show up in any place because birds have that ability. They can fly. They can show up anywhere. So it's always keeping you on your toes. Obviously, that's just the beginning of today's journey. We're gonna go birding at a new regional park that I've never been to before, Glen Helen Regional Park. But to find a lifer, and a really awesome one at that, the wood stork, rare bird, is absolutely incredible. Let's see what else we can find today.
I was super excited to see the wood stork. I thought it was beautiful and amazing, and pretty cool that she decided to come and make a nest in California.
So now we're at Glen Helen Regional Park. I've actually never been here, and it's not too far from where I usually stay in Southern California. So if this park is bumping, it'd be nice to have another regional park a little bit further than Mojave Narrows Regional Park, but also not as far as going all the way down the hill. I'm still struggling to get over that wood stork. That was an absolutely just amazing experience being able to observe that bird for as long as we were able to. But first bird here at Glen Helen Regional Park is the brown-headed cowbird. If you didn't know, brown-headed cowbirds are parasitic nesters. So what they do is they lay their eggs in other birds' nests and let them raise their kids. So a lot of people don't like them for that reason. And yeah, they can be problematic if they grow beyond their numbers, but they're still adapted to do that naturally, and you can't really blame them for finding something that works. So we're gonna continue down this trail and see what other birds we can find. I walked down the nature trail trying to find birds through the thick trees and leaves. A western bluebird perched on the side of a large trunk, giving off its best nuthatch impressions. These birds are absolutely stunning with their bright blue and orange plumage. One of California's squirrel species enjoyed a snack on the ground in front of me. The birding felt a bit slow after seeing such an exciting bird just a few minutes earlier. So I've walked this trail a little bit, and the water feature here at Glen Helen Regional Park is pretty small. It's like a little pond, and it's surrounded by people fishing. So there's like no birds on the water just because there's so many fishing lines in there. And then I'm on something called the Nature Trail, and there's good birds in here for sure. So if you're coming here, you could find good stuff. The problem is there's not a lot. So you're paying $10 to come here to bird. You're not seeing a lot of birds. This middle forest area is super thick, which makes it really hard to see anything. Birding by ear, it's fine. I think we're up to like 20 species or so, but at this point, there's better places to go birding in Southern California. So I'm gonna continue obviously walking. I wanna get a full experience here at Glen Helen. You never know what we're gonna find. We could find a surprise. So let's continue down this trail and finish that at a minimum, and then see if there's any other birds around that we could possibly get on camera. Because there is stuff here, and there could very well be something hidden in these trees. We picked up a few more birds on camera after that last clip. Lesser goldfinch was up just calling in a tree. Always beautiful to see goldfinches around. And then behind me over here, picked up a northern house wren. I'm not sure if it's a young one or not. It seems like it's a young one, just the way it's acting and behaving and stuff. But northern house wren on the list. Not always easy to get a wren on camera. Let's just finish the nature trail, and again, decent amount of species, but I don't know if visiting Glen Helen Regional Park specifically just for birding is, worth it yet. Right now I'm gonna say no. If you're here, obviously, for other reasons, might as well stop by. But we're gonna head over to kind of more of the water area and see what birds are over there, and I'll keep you updated. Picked up a cool woodpecker species that looks like a clown acorn woodpecker. So this park certainly has birds. Acorn woodpecker just over here drilling in the tree next to me. Those are really cool birds to see. And like I was mentioning before, I'm kind of comparing this place against other regional parks in Southern California. That's my criteria. And so it might lead to me being a little bit more negative of the overall experience. I think the biggest issue I have is that like 90% of this park, this regional park, is just manicured grass, which does nothing for nature. I really wish that some of these areas were more filled in with native species, but I'm not in charge of these things. So it'd be a lot more beneficial for the wildlife at least. Let's continue. I'm at these other ponds. There's more than one pond here, and see if there's any other birds hanging out on these less fished areas. I made my way through the ponds at Glen Helen Regional Park. Most of them didn't have a ton of life swimming around them. Above me in a tree, I spotted a western wood pewee. Their calls are one of the most recognizable during this time of year. An acorn woodpecker sat in front of me, carving out one of its holes for storing acorns. Eventually, this tree will be full of these drilled holes. One of the most prominent birds at the park were the red-winged blackbirds. They're always a joy to get good looks of thanks to their beautiful shoulder patches and iconic calls. Eventually, I arrived at the largest pond in the park in hopes of seeing a few more birds. I'm at the pond now, and it's pretty much empty. I know it's not duck season, so I'm not going to be too harsh on the fact that there's no ducks out here. Most duck species have moved further north at this point. There are some duck species that are more of a summer visitor to this far south. Teals, for example, will stick around a lot longer, but there's just really nothing out there, including things like coots. So I had one American coot at the last pond, as you saw, and then around this big pond, there is a little bit of action. There's a double-crested cormorant on the shore over here, and just the one though, so just one double-crested cormorant. There's no pelicans or anything out on the water. There's some Canada geese behind me over here feeding in the grass, and then there's just a lot of grackles. That's just all over Southern California, really. Great-tailed grackles really like these types of parks to hang out in. We've seen some cool species today. Obviously the wood stork being the most amazing bird that we saw, and we saw that right at the beginning of the adventure. But I'm hoping to just at least pick up a few more species today on camera. I think as a standalone hotspot, anyone would be happy to have Glen Helen Regional Park near their home. I think there's some incredible birds here. There's obviously a very large list at this park because cool things come in to the water at different times of the year. But compared to the other regional parks in the area, Mojave Narrows Regional Park, Parado Regional Park, I still think those take the cake. So being a little bit more harsh on this area because of those better parks, but we've still seen some cool birds. Oh, I forgot to mention, I got my best views ever of a northern yellow warbler. So you might be confused because you might be thinking, oh, that's just a yellow warbler. But recently, the yellow warbler was split into two different species. So it's the northern yellow warbler and the mangrove yellow warbler. Don't ask me why they couldn't just do yellow warbler and mangrove warbler, but they did decide to split it into those two distinctions. So cool species to pick up on the day. I've been hearing them this entire trip to California, just haven't been able to see them. And I always like getting a warbler on camera. Before leaving the pond, I caught a glimpse of two pied-billed grebes. Can you see the younger one with its zebra-patterned face? A western wood pewee alerted me of its presence with its scratchy call from a branch above. On my way out of the park, I ran into two Southern California icons. The first one was this black phoebe taking a rest on the grass, and common ravens, which are absolutely all over the deserts of Southern California. I finished off my walk with views of this American kestrel and called it a day. That's going to do it for today's video. Obviously, we saw an incredible bird to start, the wood stork. And then Glen Helen Regional Park, it's not a bad place to bird. If I had this park close to my house, I'd be happy. We saw like 35 species while we were here, so definitely plenty of birds. I just think compared to a lot of the other Southern California parks, this one falls at the bottom, at least the ones that I've been to so far. If you'd like to support my channel, links to my merch and my membership program are in the description below. If you join my membership, you get early access to videos when I get those done early. You also get behind the scenes, members only content that will be coming out already. Actually, I have a behind the scenes video on Arizona, which just goes into a lot of depth and includes things that I cut from the videos. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope to see you all next time on Bright-Eyed Birding.